Okay, let's start with a word of prayer. Our Father God in heaven, I thank you for today. Thank you because you love us. Thank you because you are gracious towards us. Thank you because you are God all by yourself. I pray, Lord, that as we get on with this service, your spirit and your power will carry us through it. Thank you, Father, for because I know you've heard and answered. In Jesus' precious name, I have prayed. Amen. If you heard that wonderful prayer, give me a loud amen. Now, if you're following me closely, give me the word a mental awakening. Give it to me in bold capital letters. A mental awakening. So that is where we are going in this church. Want to build people who are global value, people who have global relevance, people who have global essence. Want to build those kind of people. And that's why what we are doing moving forward is going to center and border on mental awakening. Your mind needs to wake up. Your mind needs to wake up. Now, first of all, your mind awakes the very moment you realize that everything you were taught from childhood is a lie. That is the first step to awakening. The first step to awakening, somebody should please be writing out these points. I'll be indicating the particular points to write out, okay? And as you're writing them, I'll be listing them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going downwards like that until the end of the service. All right? So I want these points to be outlined. So someone following closely, please be writing them out. Now, this month of February is a month of mental awakening. We are doing mental awakening, but some other churches are doing spiritual awakening to a people whose minds are daft and empty. Before you start awakening spiritually, how about you awaken mentally first? How will God work with you spiritually when physically your minds are too backward and so much ignorance and foolishness rests in your mind? A lot of people are doing spiritual awakening, but hey, let's now come down to reality. We are doing mental awakening. You need to be awakened in your mind for God to awaken you in your spirit. You cannot be dead in the mind and be screaming to be awakened in the spirit. You cannot be empty in the mind and be screaming for God to jack you up spiritually and wake you up when mentally, psychologically, you are completely empty, daft, and devoid of understanding. There has to be some level of understanding. There has to be some level of wisdom implanted in your mind and in your head. Then, in the light of that wisdom, God now brings the spiritual awakening. How is it that God awakens you spiritually when mentally you are still daft and dumb? How is it that God awakens you spiritually when mentally you are still empty and weak? God is not ready to work with dumb minds. God is not ready to work with empty heads. God is not ready to work with minds that are not prepared, that are not equipped, that are not developed, and that are not strategically balanced. If I ask you, what are your strategies for life? You have no idea. If I ask you, what is the path with which you want to run and order the things in your life? You have no idea. Most of us here are people that just go with the flow. Whatever comes tomorrow, we deal with it. Whatever tomorrow brings, we flow with it. Whatever society throws at us, we take it and we move with it. You have no mental intelligence. You have no emotional intelligence. You have no mental intelligence. And then you want to be spiritually relevant to God. If you cannot be spiritually relevant to yourself and society, then in what way can God make you relevant to Him? So moving forward, we want to develop and establish an enlightened people. Moving forward, we want to raise and create people with understanding, physical understanding, mental and emotional understanding. We want to raise people whose awareness of the way things actually works is alert. A lot of us have no idea how things work in our physical society, in our environment. You have no idea. Completely lost as to where things are, how things work, how things function. You have no idea. You are completely out of touch with reality. But then, look at you praying, oh God, use me. Oh God, empower me. Oh God, fill me with your spirit and let me be a vessel in your hands. Hey, before you become a vessel in God's hands, how about you sharpen your mind? How about you equip your mind? How about you build, let there be light in your mind. A lot of your minds are dark. Nothing is there, empty, dumb and daft. And God is saying, a lot of these people calling on to God, God is saying one thing: my people perish for lack of knowledge. My people perish for lack of understanding. My people perish for lack of wisdom. God himself saying that to his own people, the same people who are calling out to him on a daily basis. Oh God, use me. Oh God, fill me and awaken me spiritually. And God is looking at you and saying, how foolish you are. My people perish for lack of understanding. Now, before you begin to pursue spiritual awakening, first of all, acquire mental awakening, emotional awakening. Before you begin to pursue deep spiritual things, let there be light in your mind, light in your understanding, light in your knowledge. Most of us are walking in the dark. Our eyes closed, yet you are moving. Because the earth moves, so you move with it, even though you don't know where you are going. But because the earth is moving, days come and go, months come and go, the earth continues to move on. You move with it. Even though you are moving blindly, you have no idea where you're going. Whatever life throws at you, you deal with it at that time. Whatever comes, you handle it and you figure it out at that time. No plan, no strategy, no order. There is no path to where your life is going. And all we are praying now, pray for spiritual awakening when your mind is still empty, dark, and void of understanding. God told me, he said, hey, God said something in his word. He said, the children of this world are in their generations wiser than the children of light. Imagine that. When God says, the children of this world, the sinners, the ungodly people, he says they are in their generation, so wiser than the children of light. Do you know God's priority for us now is that we upgrade our minds, mental awakening, emotional awakening, knowledgeable awakening, wisdom awakening, understanding awakening. We need to be awake in our minds, in our understanding, in our thinking, in our strategies, in our wisdom, in our patterns, and in our ways. We need to be awake. That way we can be useful to God and also useful to ourselves. You see people who are useless to themselves asking God to make them useful to him. People who are useless to themselves, they've not been able to achieve anything for themselves, yet they are asking God, God, I want to achieve something for you. And God is looking at you and he's shaking his head saying, what have you done for yourself all this while? Nothing. But then you want to be functional for God. Now, God has given us a lot of things that can make us profitable, valuable, and useful to ourselves and to society. You have not utilized any of those things. You've not brought anything out of those things. You've not made anything come to life from all the various things that are available to you from which you can be useful. You've done nothing, achieved nothing, come to nothing with all those in front of you. Then you are praying and say, God, make me useful for you. Will you shut up? Will you shut up? So right now, I'm going to be teaching us a lot of things that will open your eyes to the reality of where you are. Many of us don't know where we are. Many of us have no idea the way things play out right in front of us. Many of us are like idols. They have eyes, but they cannot see. They have ears, but they cannot hear. eyes that cannot see, ears that cannot hear. Right in front of you, there are many opportunities, many privileges. You should not live a lowly life. The life you have now, you should not live like that. If only your eyes are open to see. If only your ears are open to hear. Where your life is now should not be there. You should be way, way, way higher, way advanced than where you are right now. But because you are like an idol, eyes that cannot see, ears that cannot hear, a mind, you have a mind, but that mind cannot understand, has no understanding. Therefore, your life is at the lowest points of where it can ever be. God said to me, it's time for a mental awakening. People that are pursuing spiritual awakening, good luck to you. But right now, we are pursuing mental awakening. That our minds be filled with understanding, wisdom, insights that will make us valuable, essential, and useful people. Not only to ourselves, to society, and to the world at large. Listen, make it a priority. I will become a global value. Everybody type it and write it out here. Make it a priority. I will become a global value. Do you know what it is? When you become a global value, the whole world finds you valuable. The whole world finds you useful. The whole world finds you essential. The whole world finds you relevant. That is what it is when you become a global value. Write it here. I will become a global value. Now, to become a global value is not just by saying it, but by building values within yourself that the world cannot do without. Building value, building quality, building features within yourself that the world cannot do without. So when you bring out the values you've built, everybody will run after you. Now, what is the first step to awakening? Everything I was taught from childhood is a lie. Until that light enters your brain, you are not yet awake. Until that light enters your brain, that wait, they lied to me all the way from childhood until that kind of reality hits you, you have not yet awakened. Mental awakening starts from a realization that everything they taught me from beginning to the end, all the way from childhood, were all lies. I'm going to be proving some of these lies to you from time to time. Just follow me. And you will come to that understanding that true, they lied to you. You were raised on lies. You grew on lies. And every damn thing that you opened your eyes to were all fake and false. That's the first step to mental awakening. Now, let me give you an instance. Do you realize, this is the second point, please write it down. The value you build in yourself dominates and supersedes the value that others gives to you. That's point number 2. The value you build in yourself, it dominates and it supersedes the value that others gives to you. Now let me explain. On your own, you decided to build a skill. On your own, you decided to research on something and get more knowledge, more understanding or skill on a particular thing. On your own, out of your own personal motivation, out of your own personal drive. And you decided to go for a skill. I want to learn this skill. And on your own, you began to research. You began to find out. You began to experiment. You began to try several things. Do you know that skill, that knowledge, that quality you built on your own, out of your own personal interest, supersedes, exceeds whatever any other person tries to put on you or give to you? Now, every successful person in the world today built the skill that made them successful individually, on their own. Every successful person in the world today, go and check the top 10 world's billionaires, top 10 richest men in the world. What they do that made them billionaires, they built the skill on their own. They didn't go to school for it. They didn't learn from probably someone schooled them on their own. Out of their own interest and out of their own personal drive, they pushed to acquire certain skills, acquire certain knowledge, acquire certain understanding, from which they were able to build the successes that has made them billionaires and the richest in the world. Do you want to talk about Elon Musk? Elon Musk built rockets. Elon, from your early days, how did you know to build rockets? Elon didn't train in school, has no degree in rocket science, didn't need a PhD or a master's degree in rocket science. On his own, from childhood, he began to inquire, ask questions, do research, perform experiments, build things on his own, out of his own personal research. And then he was able to find out and figure things out, and was able to come up with certain things that really made sense at the time. Now, Bill Gates built Microsoft. Many of you, every computer in the world uses Microsoft, apart from a few that uses the Apple operating system. Almost every computer in the world runs on Microsoft Windows. If you have Windows on your system, it's Microsoft. Bill Gates. Bill Gates, how did you learn to build something like this? Self-taught. He trained himself. He taught himself. He built the skill by himself. Mark Zuckerberg. How many of you know Mark Zuckerberg? The guy that owns Facebook. He owns Instagram. He owns WhatsApp. He owns Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and a wide variety of other products. Mark, how did you learn to build social media and build something that functions like this? Mark Zuckerberg, he trained himself. He was self-taught. He built the skill on his own. Now, this goes a long way to tell you that what you develop by yourself adds more value, creates more value, and goes further than what other people give to you. And so instead of spending time going to school to get other people's value or to be trained by other people's understanding, how about you step back from school and say, what do I really want to pursue with my life, and begin to train yourself in that direction? That training you give yourself will do you way better than what any other person will ever give to you. Make it a priority. I will train myself. I will teach myself. I will establish myself. I'll build the skill. I have a daughter in this church. Her name is Shanae. Shanae built a skill in baking all by herself. All by herself. And Shanae began to bake some very outstandingly excellent stuff. You know, when I say baking, you think of cake. You think of probably bread and some of these common things, you know. But Shanae bakes what is beyond cake and bread and stuff. She has taken hers way beyond the ordinary. And by self-training, self-education, self-instructing, I've been able to see some of her works and how she achieves them and how she produces them and how she makes them. You'll be blown away. You will think this girl has trained for years to be a baker. Blown away by how good it looks. One day she sent me videos of some of the things she did. I was like, what? How many years have you been training? And she said, I just started just a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago. I'm like, really? You just started and it's this good already? So good. Listen, prioritize self-education. What you build in yourself, what you develop in yourself, what you create in yourself outshines, dominates, and goes over and beyond anything else anybody tries to teach you or impart within you. And so, from today, instead of looking for the next school to go and enroll, the next university to go and apply, the next college to go and submit application so they train you, how about you begin to sit yourself down and build skill within yourself? The greatest men today that gave us all the technology we enjoy in the world today. How did they build it? Self-taught. Self-taught. Isaac Newton. How many of you know Isaac Newton? Famous scientist. He's a physicist. And he gave many laws of physics. Isaac Newton, who trained you in physics? Nobody. Self-taught. And a whole lot of these other people. There is this man that divided conjoined twins. How many of you know these kind of twins that are joined to each other? Right? And sometimes you hear that these twins, they share one heart. Or sometimes they share one brain. Or sometimes they share a body part. And they are joined. These are two separate people, but joined together from birth. The guy that splitted conjoined twins, and it was a successful operation. The first guy that did it, Ben Carson. Ben Carson, how did you learn to do this? Because it has never been done in the world before. Nobody ever has performed this kind of operation before. So how did you get to learn to split conjoined twins that in as much as they share the same organs, you separated it and everybody went to separate ways? How did you do it? Self-taught. He trained himself. He built the skill in himself. And because he was able to do it, now he imparted the knowledge on other people, and now many doctors around the world can separate those kind of twins. Self-taught. Elon Musk, self-taught, built the skill that made him a billionaire. Bill Gates, self-taught, built the skill that made him a billionaire. Mark Zuckerberg, self-taught, built the skill that made him a billionaire. Isaac Newton, Michael Faraday, all of these scientists, self-taught, built the skills that made them billionaires. And the list is endless. Every one of them, on their own, without formal education, built the skills that made them successful. You, who is building your own skills, you are in one classroom somewhere with a lecturer that has failed in life. That is the one building your own skills. You will end up in failure. You will end up in failure. Now, if you notice, many of these people who depend on formal education, their lives does not go anywhere. Go and check across board, all over the world. People who depend on formal education, their lives does not go anywhere. The skill, the knowledge, the understanding, the wisdom that will take you to the top, only you can build it in yourself. Only you can build it in yourself. These are some of the areas you need to start waking up. You subject yourself to a 4-year program, so somebody else can train you. Do you know you can do that? That thing you are paying for someone else to train you, do you know you can do that for yourself? You can do that for yourself. Sit your butt down. Do some research. Do some finding out. Sometimes submit to mentors. Submit to mentors. Probably you find that you have strong interest in a particular field and you want to pursue that field. You've done your own research, you've done your own findings, you've trained, but then no man is an island of knowledge. You submit to mentors, someone who is in the field, who is succeeding there. You go to the person and say, hey, I see you are in this field and you're doing well in this field. Please, I would like to upgrade my skill in this field. I know some things, but I want to upgrade and I want to be under you. Work with them for free. After all, you are on a journey of personal development. On a journey of personal development, work with them for free. Tell them I'll work for you, free of charge, don't pay me. Why? So you can upgrade your understanding, upgrade your skill, upgrade your knowledge. Now, sometimes they might require you pay a fee. Some people will not allow you learn under them for free. They require you pay a fee. Fine, pay the fee. That person has succeeded in that field. That person has made a big name in that field. That person is pulling weight in that field. And the person says, okay, pay a fee for me to put you through and guide you. Pay the fee. Learn the skill. You are learning from someone who has perfected the skill. Not just perfected, he succeeded in it. But guess what? With formal education, who are the people training you? Formal education, those of you that go to school. Who are the people training you? The people teaching you? The people who are lecturing you? Go and check. 99% of the time, they failed in that field. They failed in that field. And those are the people training you in school. Those are the people teaching you in school. Those are the people educating you in school. People that failed in the field are the ones training you. How do I know they failed? Well, look at their lives. And you will tell whether is this the life of a successful person or the life of a failure. Look at the life of your lecturer. And tell me whether is that the life of a successful person or the life of a failure. You say, oh, this is my lecturer. And that is the person you are paying. You are paying the school to train you, and they sent you a failure to train you. The lecturer that is depending on salary for his next meal. Lecturer that is depending on paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck. Lecturer that literally cannot count his net worth, has no assets. What is in the life of that lecturer you will count as a success. That you say, oh, this person has been able to achieve some outstanding feat in life and has hit some major success off of the career he's holding. Nothing. I went through the university system. I went through college, and I saw that all my lecturers were failures. In that field, in that career, they were training me on. I asked myself, what has this person achieved for himself? What successes has he recorded for himself? In what way is his life better off? For which I want him to model my own life after. And I look at my lecturers, and they come to class to complain about how the government have not paid them their salaries. They come to class to tell us how there is no food in their house. They come to class to tell us how they are struggling themselves. They come to class to tell us that, hey, if we shouldn't waste their time here, because after all, what they are being paid is peanuts and it's nothing. And then I look at the kind of cars they drive. And then I look at the houses where they live. And I look at everything that surrounds them. And I ask myself, this is the person training me. Is this who I want to be like? This is the person coaching me. Is this who I want to be like? Is this what I want my future to be like? Is this how I want my tomorrow to be like? I ask myself that question. Do I want my future to look like this lecturer that is coaching me, training me, shaping me for the future? Do I want my life to be like this? And I looked at him. I looked at them, all of them. And I saw a bunch of failures who were in the field but could not make anything out of it for themselves. Those were the people now training me. Those were the people now lecturing me. Those are the people now showing me the way. What kind of way will those people show me if not the way to fail? If not the way to fail, that's basically all they will show me. Path to failure, because they themselves have failed. Now you want to learn a skill. You want to build in a certain field. Listen, go to people who succeeded and are doing well in that field. Those are the only kind of people that will tell you how to succeed in the field. Only a success can build a success. Only someone who has dominated can give you dominating information. Only someone who has excelled can give you excelling and give you information of excellence. The people you are looking up to are failures. The people you are following are failures. Look at their lives and look at the kind of things that surround them. Is that what you want your future to be like? If that is not what you want your future to be like, stop following that person. Stop learning from that person. Stop listening to that person. Stop being under that person. Only follow people whose life replicates what you want your future to be. Only follow people whose lives replicate what you want your future to be. If that person you are following is not living in your future, you are in the wrong place. That person you are following, that person that you are listening to, you are learning from, that person that is the one guiding you, showing you the way. If that person is not living in your future, you are in the wrong place. You are in the wrong place, because nobody will take you further than where they've gotten themselves. Nobody will take you further than where they've gotten themselves. Only someone who has gone far can take you far. And so, where you go to learn, whom you go to learn from, matters in this pursuit of personal development, in this pursuit of self-development. Only learn from winners. Only learn from successful people. Only learn from those who have evidence of success. Those are the only kind of people you should learn from. Your teacher is poor, and you are his student. Where are you headed? Where are you headed? You are headed to poverty. Your teacher is poor, and you are his student. Where are you headed? You are headed to poverty. Your teacher is broke, and you are his student. Where are you headed? You are headed to brokerage. You become a broker. Now, in the pursuit for self-development, learn from those who have succeeded, who have evidence of success. You know, you want to learn, let's say you want to be a mechanic. Let me use that for instance. An auto mechanic, someone that's into repair of cars. And you want to learn how to work on cars. And then you go to meet somebody who repairs cars by the side of the street, by the corner of the street. He just has a small workshop and probably a few vehicles there, and he's by the corner of the street, and that is the person that is about to train you on how to be a mechanic, to repair cars. Do you know where by the time you are done with training, do you know where your shop will be? Next to his own. And you people will be on the same level. Your workshop will be next to his own. So once someone walks past his own, the next one they meet is yours. You want to be a mechanic, and you want to know how to work on cars. How about you go meet someone who has been able to bring an innovation into the car industry? How about that? Look for someone who has been able to bring some innovation into the automobile industry. Let's say, for instance, you look for Ford, and you say, I know this guy Ford, he has been able to bring some very strong, innovative ideas into the automobile industry. He has been able to bring some groundbreaking, innovative concepts into the automotive industry. That's the person I want to follow. Let me learn from him. How about you go learn from that guy that has brought in some real good automotive creativities into the industry? How about that should be the one that trains you? Why should it be the one by the side of the road that has not brought any form of innovative ideas, that has not been able to revolutionize his skill to bring new concepts into the industry? Why should it be that one that you choose to go and learn under? Why? That shouldn't be the person you're learning from. The one that is by the side of the road, ask him, what new concept have you brought into this industry that would make the industry better than what you met it? Nothing. The mechanic training you, ask him, sir, what new concept, what creative idea, what new insight have you brought into this industry that would make vehicles or make cars better effective, better functional, and of good value? He tells you, well, it is what my own Oga taught me. That is what I know. Nothing else. You are following a failure. You are following a failure. Go and follow someone who entered into the industry and was able to bring revolutionary ideas that changed how the industry works. Was able to bring mind-blowing concepts that literally changed the game. You are going to learn from someone who all he knows is what he was told. Has not added anything new to the industry, has not brought in any new concept, has not really developed anything of his own that you will say, oh, he learned the skill, and out of what he learned, he has been able to build something of his own. Nothing. That's who trains you. Well, if his shop is 2A, your own shop will be 2B. If you have to be trained by people who have been successful in the field, people who have added value, new concept, new ideas and revolutionize the industry. Those are the people you look up to train you. Not people who are doing it the same old way they taught them. And they have not added anything new to the industry. Those shouldn't be the people that lead you, that teach you, that guide you, that instruct you. Those shouldn't be the people that you follow. Go and follow people that when you look at their work, even you will be amazed by it because nobody else does it the way they do it. You know how somebody undergoes a training, acquires a skill, and from the skill he acquires, he has been able to bring in new ideas, new concepts, new creativity to make the skill he has learned advanced and further it and enhance it. And then you can see the things he has built on his own. And you ask him, what new thing have you created out of this skill? What new invention has come out of you since learning this skill? He should be able to show you a few things and say, oh, I built this, I created this, I developed this, I made this one work, and show you. And you see for yourself that truly this person has been able to make some new things work that was not in existence before. Those are the kind of persons you should look to for training. You want to acquire a new skill, don't go and learn from someone who all he knows is what he was taught, has no new concepts, new ideas, has no vision or plan as to how we can make things better than what it is when he learned it. And that's who is teaching you. And that's what you have in the schools. That's what you have in the universities. That's what you have in the colleges. That's what you have in all of our institutions. Failed people who learned the skill but has not been able to add anything to the skill, has not been able to create anything new, has not been able to build anything. All they know is what they were taught. Aside that, they are empty. Those are the people in your colleges, in your universities, in your institutions. Those are the people training and teaching you. How would you ever be able to create high value, highly relevant qualities and features that will make you important? How? Do you know, in order for you to gain the attention of the world, you need to do something that nobody else have done. Do you know that? In order for you to gain the attention of the world, you need to do something that nobody else has done. Somebody should write that down and put it up here. In order for you to get the attention of the world, you have to do something that nobody else have done. Now, if the person training you has never done anything new in that field, you too will never do anything new in the field. Like, you need to get this and get this straight. While you're training and building yourself, sometimes you need mentors, you need teachers, you need guides to guide you, direct you, to show you things and put you through. Now be careful who becomes your guide, who shows you the way. Be careful who leads you. Be careful. So that you don't go and put your head under a failure and become the next failure. That's one point. And I'm sure every one of us has got this clearly. Secondly, if you want, this is the next thing you should write. If you want to be rich and happy, don't go to school. If you want to be rich and happy, don't go to school. Write it out. Write it out as the next point. Please write this out very boldly. You want to be rich and you want to be happy, don't go to school. Now, school is the shortcut to poverty. Shortcut to poverty. School is the gateway to a life of dependence, frustration, and mental dormancy. You see, school, gateway to a life of dependence. You will become a dependent for the rest of your life. School is a gateway for frustration and also mental dormancy. I'll explain. So these things I just said, somebody should write it out. Please, write them all out very, very clearly and bold. Now, they taught you that, if you want to be successful, you should go to school. Isn't it? Is that what you were told? If you want to be rich, if you want to, if you want to do well in this life, go to school, get a degree, and then get a job. Isn't that the pattern for schools? Go to school, get a degree, and then get a job. That is the way that failures follow. Now, here's the thing. Your school will never teach you how to stand out and do things differently. Your school will never teach you how to stand out and do things differently. Why? Because everything the school holds in their curriculum, everything the school holds in their course outline are things that other people had done. They never bring anything that has not been done before. True or false? They never bring anything that has not been done before. Now, your school holds one curriculum, sometimes for 40 years. Your schools, they hold one curriculum, one coursework, one course outline. They hold it for 40 years. So some of the things you were taught in school was taught to your grandfathers. Some of the things you were taught in school was taught to your grandfathers. Did they add anything new to it? Did they upgrade it? Did they, enhance it? Maybe recreate it? So you learn new ideas, new concepts, and you learn how to create new understanding. Nothing of those exists there. They teach you what they were taught without any modifications, without any adjustments, without even trying to make it better. So it is just garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. No modifications, no adjustment, no enhancement. What they get is what they give you. And they hold one curriculum for 40 years. In some countries, it's 20 years, some 30 years, some 60 years. That is how long they hold a curriculum. And so what they are teaching you now is what was taught to your grandfather. Your grandfather underwent through the same classes like you are going through now. How would you be better than your grandfather? Do you think your life will be any better than that of your grandfather? Now, let me tell you this. The current educational system, that formal education that we run now, was developed and introduced by the Rochdale family. Or Rochdale, it's an individual, Rochdale. These people were the heads of the industrial age. They were the ones that were leading industrialization. I think in the early 1700s, thereabout, if I'm not mistaken. Now, Rochdale, in a bid, when I say the industrial age, there was an era where industrialization was very, very strong in some parts of America, Europe, and then all those areas, probably Asia. And then there was an industrial revolution, and Rochdale, being a billionaire, was one of those who was championing and leading that industrial era. Rochdale says, let us create a training system that only gives us people who are mentally equipped just to fit in as workers. Let us create a training system that gives us people who are mentally equipped just to fit in as workers. And let's put them in our factories, companies, industries, and let them play several roles. So we only train them to fit in to a job role to serve as workers. That was Rochdale's concept. And they were like, wow, that's a good thing to do. And so they created the system that we have today, formal education system. And they teach you and they train you relevant skills that only equips you to fit into their factories and into their industries and into their organizations and establishments. Now, this Rochdale concept worked. And they were able to get trained people, trained staffs that could fit into several areas. And a lot of other people saw it, other countries, other nations. They saw this system and how good it worked. They bought into it and they said, okay, let's do the same thing. And they began to do it. They created their own system and then began to train people using the same curriculum, the same pattern like Rochdale did. And on it began getting into every other part of the world. And that is how we have the formal educational system we have today. Now, when you go to school, you see that you are only being prepared to fit in to a job role. You are only being prepared to fit in as a workforce. School does not train you to think for yourself how to create wealth. They don't train you to think for yourself how to build wealth. They don't train you to think for yourself how to emerge with creative ideas and creative concepts. When you go to school, the first thing they do is to massacre and cut off your creative ability. They cut it off. They cut off your ability to think and reason critically and come up with solutions. They cut it off. How do they do that? You're writing an exam and a question is set before you and you try to put your own sense of reasoning into it. You will fail the answer. You'll be failed. You try to put your own criticism, your own analysis, your own ideas into the questions. You will fail. You only pass if you can repeat what you were given exactly in the exams. That's the only way you pass. Other than that, you fail. Now, when they do that to you over time, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, you stay in school 12 years, and they kept failing you for thinking and only make you pass when you repeat exactly what you were given. You've done that for 12 years. By the time you come out of school, your sense of reasoning, sense of creativity, and your mental agility is dead. Completely dead and buried. Dead and buried. Now, by the time you come out to society, you can no longer think for yourself. You can no longer apply your own intelligence and creativity to do anything. You can no longer create solutions and bring new ideas that can make things work. You can't do that anymore because over the last 12 years you've been in school, they massacred every sense of ability to think for yourself. They massacred it, slaughtered it, and made you feel stupid for thinking for yourself. You try to think on your own and try to bring out solutions. Your teacher will tell you that is not in the textbook, so you have failed. You try to bring out something that is out of the box. The teacher will tell you, shut up. That doesn't exist anywhere. It's not in the book. And because it's not in the book, you fail. They cancel you. By the time they've done that to you for 8 years, 12 years, 15 years, your sense of reasoning, critical thinking, your sense of, thinking outside the box has died. And then you are issued a death certificate. After graduation, you are issued a death certificate that certifies the death of your senses, death of your creativity, death of your mental agility, death of your internal sense of intelligence and creativity. They issue a certificate, a death certificate, that certifies that we have successfully killed this person's creativity, successfully killed the ability to think for themselves. We have successfully killed the ability of independent thinking. And they certify you and they say, now go, you are good for a job. Truly, you are good for a job. Because you see, jobs, it only requires people who cannot think to fit in. Jobs only requires people who cannot think to fit in. Only requires people who cannot reason, whose mental state has been slaughtered. It only requires them to fit in. Now, Rochdale said something. Let us create a system that will train people that can only fit under us. Let us create a system that will train people that can only fit under us. That's why when you go to school and you try to tell your lecturer, but can't we find another way to do something and solve a problem? The lecturer will tell you there is no other way to solve a problem. This is the only way we know. But lecturer, why not we work something out and figure it out? Lecturer will tell you, my dear, this is all we were given and there is nothing else. So nothing else can work. Do you see how they don't encourage you to think strategically? They don't encourage you to come up with your own ideas, with your own concepts that can possibly work. They don't allow you to bring up anything else. When I knew that school wanted to kill my sense of reasoning was when one time we're doing maths. It was math class. I was very good at maths. And then I saw a question. And then I figured out a way to solve that question. I figured out a way to bring out an answer. And then on my own, I was able to figure out a concept that gives you actual answers to that particular problem. And then I applied my own concept to solve the math problem. And then when I came to school, I showed my teacher my work. He told me my answer was correct, but how did I get to the answer? I told him, this is the pattern I used, this is the concept I used. And the teacher said to me, where did you get it from? I said, I figured it out on my own. Guess what? He said, your answer is correct, but your method is wrong. Go back, do it the way it was given in the textbook, and come back with it. The teacher told me, your answer is correct, but your method is wrong. I asked him why. He said, this method you use has not been proven, has not been certified, has not been approved, does not have any form of backing. But I said, teacher, let me explain this method to you, so you see whether it makes sense. He didn't want to hear whether, does it make sense? Does it work? Can we apply it? He didn't want to know. He told me, wrong. He told me, wrong. Go back, cancel it, and do it the way it was given in the textbook. I went back, canceled my creativity, canceled my deep insight, canceled my intelligence. I canceled it, and then repeated what was given in the textbook, and I brought it back. And the teacher said, now you got it correct. Now imagine going through that for 12 years. By the time you're out, there'll be nothing left in your mind. Nothing. They issue you a death certificate that certifies the death of your creativity, death of your mental intelligence. And then you come out, and the only thing you are fit for is a job. You can't think anymore. You can't be strategic anymore. You cannot reason outside the box anymore. Your mind can no longer vibrate with intelligent resonance anymore. Because after 12 years of school, they've shut everything down. And that was the Rothschild family. They set up this system in this way that doesn't allow you to think. You just follow what you are told. Just follow what you are told. Don't think for yourself. Because if you're allowed to think for yourself, you might probably do it better than them, and you take business away from them. So they don't want you thinking for yourself. Just do what you're told. And you become a slave to your employer. In classrooms, students' creativity are sacrificed on the altar of education. In classrooms, they sacrifice your creativity on the altar of education. They slaughter your creativity on the altar of education. And they only prepare you to be a slave that will be used by an employer. Now, for those of you that you have a job, let me tell you this. Yeah, your education only trained you to be to fit in a job setting. Your education only trained you to fit in a job setting. Anything outside a job, you are useless. Now, for those of you that have a job, do you know that your employer only pays you enough for you to keep coming, never enough for you to be rich? Do you know that? Somebody should write this down. Your employer only pays you enough for you to keep showing up, never enough for you to be rich. Now, a successful man once said, he said, your salary is the bribe that they give to you to forget your dreams while you are working on establishing their dreams. Your salary is the bribe they give to you to forget your dreams while you are working to establish and build up their own dreams. And your employer knows how much he would give you so you come back the next month. He knows how much he will pay you so you show up again the next month. But that money you're being given is never enough to make you rich. It's only enough to keep you coming back. This is what the school prepares you for, a perpetual slave. Haven't you noticed why those who didn't go to school, they are the ones building the companies for those who went to school to come and work? Haven't you noticed? Those who didn't go to school, they are the ones building the companies for those who went to school to come and work. You've not figured that out? At the end of the day, what am I saying to you? All I'm saying to you is this: open your eyes and see things for yourself. Open your mind. Work things out by yourself. Now you see someone, they've been on a job for 20 plus years. You're on a job. Do you think your employer will ever pay you enough to be at his level? Anybody that pays you remains above you. Anybody that pays you will remain above you. Anybody that pays you will always remain above you, because they will never pay you enough to be at their level. They will never pay you enough to be above their level. They will only pay you enough to keep coming back while you remain at the bottom. They will only pay you enough to keep coming back while you stay at the bottom. Now, what is the way forward? Set up your own establishments. Set up your own businesses. Set up your own industries. Set up your own commercial centers. You might not have the money to do it, but if you have the intelligence, start from somewhere. Instead of striving for another job, strive to start your own business. You will never be better than the person that employs you. You will never be better than the person that employs you. You will never be bigger than the person that employs you. You will never be higher than the person that employs you, no matter how many years of service you render. If you like, render 20 years of service. You will never be bigger, better, higher than the person that employs you. Somebody should write that down and put it up here very quickly. And it's very important. And so you should set up your own businesses. Set up your own establishments. It is the establishment you set up that will take you to the top, not the person's establishment you work for. Somebody should write this down. It is the establishment you set up that will take you to the top, not the establishment you work for. Somebody should write that down and put it up here. It is the establishment you set up. It is the organization you set up. It is the business you set up that will take you to the top. Not the establishment you work for. Not the business you work for. Not the company you work for. Write that down and put it up here very quickly. And so one of the things you should start doing is, number one, let God restore your creative mind that schools have killed. And then number two, set up your own business. If you don't know where to set it up from, come to me. Ask me, prophet, pray for me. Tell me where I should set up my own business from, and I will pray for you and I will guide you. I will pray for you and I will guide you. This is why I'm a prophet. I should be able to prophesy which career or which business you will do that will make you outstanding. How many of you can relate to what I'm saying? And you can tell that what I'm saying is true. If you can tell what I'm saying is true, please confirm and say, prophet, what you're saying is true. I pray that God will give us understanding. Set up your own establishments. Set up your own businesses. If you want to be as big as your boss, do what your boss did. When I say your boss, I don't mean you are the office clerk. The person ahead of you is the MPA. And then no. If you want to be as big as your boss, when I say your boss, I mean the business owner, the owner of the company. That's the boss I'm referring to. If you want to be as big as your boss, do what your boss did. Your boss took the courage to start his own company. And that's why he has you as his employer. How about you do the same thing? Start your own company so you can have others to work for you too. You will never be rich on a salary. Somebody should write that down and put it up here. You will never be rich on a salary. You will never be rich on a salary. Now, I'll give you what salary means. S-A-L-A-R-Y. I'll tell you what it means. Something always little and reduces you. Something always little and reduces you. That's salary. That's salary. I'll tell you what the word job means. Job means J-O-B. What does it mean? Just over broke. Just over broke. So salaries and jobs keeps you broke. You will never see a person who became successful on a job. Like you see someone is rich, he's wealthy, and he has fulfilled his dreams. And you ask him, how did you fulfill your dream? He said, I got a job. Never. Your dreams can never be fulfilled on a job. Your dreams can never be fulfilled on a salary. But I tell you, if you don't open your eyes and wisen up, you will stay in that job for 20 years. You will stay in that job for 30 years until you grow old. Until you grow old. It's high time you take that big risk and say, now I'm starting my own. Otherwise, you will remain poor forever. You will be poor as long as you stay under a job. Only when you start your own can you become really, really financially free. And so let God open your eyes so you see and begin to take action. You know, one thing your school does is they've successfully been able to keep you in fear that you should never start your own thing. How many of you want to start your own business, you are scared, you are afraid, your body is shaking? That's one thing school does. Whenever you want to do your own, use your head and think for yourself, you begin to panic. Do you know why? In school, you were taught not to think for yourself. You were taught not to use your head. You were taught not to figure it out and apply your own personal intelligence. You were only taught to do what other people have done. You were only taught to apply principles other people have established. Never apply your own principles. And now when you want to start a business of your own or you start something of your own, you are scared, you are in panic, you are afraid. But listen, it's time to defeat those fears, come out and do what you have to do. And I pray that God will give you understanding. And God will help you in the mighty name of Jesus. Now, let me say this so you know, as long as you stay in a job, you will never experience success. Somebody should write that down and put it out here very boldly. As long as you stay in a job, you will never experience success. Forget about success for you. It will never reach your side. As long as you continue to stay in a job, you will never experience success. You will never experience financial freedom. You will never be satisfied. Write that down very boldly. As long as you stay in a job, you will never experience success. You will never experience financial freedom. You will never be satisfied. Satisfaction only comes from starting your own establishment. It might be difficult at first, but in time it becomes easy. God will give us understanding, and you will get it right. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray for you. An awakening is coming to your mind. An awakening is coming to your spirit. An awakening is coming to you right now. In the mighty name of Jesus. God will do it for you. Let me tell you, no successful person in the world today is the product of a job. Go and ask anywhere. All the richest men in the world, which of them are product of jobs? But all of them are product of their own establishments and companies, their own businesses. You want to be rich? Start your own thing. You want to win? Start your own thing. Come out of that job. It's scary. Come out and go start your own thing. Until you start your own, you will never be successful. God will help you, and God will back you up. In Jesus' precious name, I pray. Amen. I love you all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for following. And have a good rest of your night. And from this side, it is Shalom. Now, as I always do, highlight some of the things you learned from this service, or the things that stood out to you, or maybe a quick summary of what you got out of today's service.